Unit 2 takes a look at digital equity. In order to provide digital equity for all students, teachers should understand 5 things. The following article from ISTE provides information and links to more articles to get a better understanding of digital equity. If you click on this link here, it takes you to the appropriate article, 5 things every educator should know about digital equity. It's easier to define than it is to solve. Like, we understand what it is. It's providing equal opportunities to individuals with disabilities, but sometimes that isn't always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes digital equity is also providing access to people who are lower income or who have fewer resources than everyone else. So sometimes you have to take into consideration that the students or individuals have no internet at home. A lot of times I have to try to schedule what we call, some people call it the CAL, we just call it the Chrome cart, so that we can have access to Chromebooks for students to use when doing tasks that involve technology. A lot of times this is the only way I can get assignments like this done. Many times if I'm having them partner up for activities, one student may not have access at home while another one does, so the one who has the least amount of access will use the computer at school, while the one who has access at home will go home and finish up work on their computers at home, so they take advantage of things like Google Chrome and Google Classroom. Some schools use the Bring Your Own Device programs. At my school, we no longer do this just because students don't know how to be responsible digital citizens. This is something they're still having to learn, so that privilege has been taken away from them. But many students or many schools do allow students to bring devices to school to have access to technology. The Maker Movement, which is bridging the gap between girls and STEM, they're providing more opportunities for girls to do hands-on technology activities, science, math, engineering, things of that nature, in order to put more girls into fields that deal with science, technology, engineering, and math. 24/7 tools for diverse learners. Tries to create a universal design for learning for students to have more flexible access to technology that is personalized for them. And then lastly, we need to pay attention to how digital equity can help close the homework gap. A lot of students don't have the technology at home that they need to do specific tasks. So teachers need to consider doing things like that at school. Teachers need to consider alternative routes. Also, it may be that students struggle to get work done at school, so you could assign something digitally if the students have access, and then they could work on that from home. All right, digital equity involves providing equitable access to technology to all students. According to coreed.org, the lack of access of technology can lead to a digital divide or digital inequity. You can have a gap, this large gap that divides students even further when dealing with academics. They can feel like they are less equipped, they are less, they have less than what their peers have, and that can sometimes lower their self-esteem and things of that nature. There are 2 key aspects to consider when dealing with equitable access. We have to remember that not every child has exactly what another child has. So one aspect we have to consider is, do learners have access to technology through digital devices, a strong infrastructure, and internet capabilities? A lot of times they may have it at school, but they don't have it at home. If we do have these capabilities and these devices at school, in what ways are the technologies being used to support teaching and learning? Are they being used to facilitate what's going on in the classroom? Are they being used to support the curriculum? So we need to pay attention to these things and make sure that the technology that we do have is being used efficiently and effectively to meet the needs of the students while supporting the curriculum. But we also need to make sure that we are taking into consideration what students have available to them at home, and what students have available to them at school. A lot of us kind of wonder where we fall on the digital divide. You might wonder where you would have fallen on the digital divide when you were in high school if you are an adult. If you click on this link here, it will take you to a website that allows you to find your location on the digital divide. Once you've taken that quiz, you'll go to the correct discussion forum here in the taskbar, post your results, and then discuss with your classmates where you were in the digital divide and how that affected your learning, or how it affects your learning now. The next couple of videos you see will talk about how to improve digital equity, how to bridge the digital divide. Here we have an example of two schools who were trying to, or two school districts who were trying to challenge students to create a student digital equity video in order to see what is necessary to bridge that gap, bridge that digital divide. All right, and then here we have a video that goes over, and if you actually click on this link, there are 8 slides to explain the various forms of assistive and adaptive technologies available. Assistive and adaptive technologies are tools that are in place to help someone with disabilities navigate their school careers. If they're no longer in school, it's something to make life easier for them, makes it easier for them to navigate the world like their non-disabled counterparts. And then here we have a video that explains the top 10 assistive technologies that are available today. Things from a talk pad that allows people to, with cerebral palsy, to look at pictures and words, and it allows them, the computer, to speak for them. They have different types of recorders, different types of eye things that will, track their eye movement and understand what they are trying to communicate as well as record. All right, following the completion of this unit, participate in the effects of the digital divide discussion forum located under forum on the menu bar above. That's actually located in the discussions portion of the taskbar. So you will participate in a discussion about the digital divide, discuss where you fall on the digital divide and the effects that the digital divide can have on education.